Hi everyone, Chris here. How are you all doing today? I hope you're all doing great. A bit of a different video here today because what I wanted to do was show you exactly what setup I use in order to place my match bet, do my match betting, the things that I have found to be the most helpful, and the way in which I actually just approach that. Because I think the way you set up the windows or the way you organize yourself with match betting really makes a difference to your profits. And I've actually had a few people messaging me and also emailing me asking me how can I actually set myself up, what do I do with all the windows, that sort of thing. And so I thought this would be a great way to show you. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to get my phone in a second. I'm going to flip the camera around and show you the view that I see of my workstation, how I'm set up, what computer I'm using, that sort of thing. And then what I'll do is I'll take it back into the computer and just show you a couple of ideas of how I like to organize the windows and the tool that I use to do that. So with that being said, let me bring the camera around and show you the view from my perspective. Okay, here we are on the other side of the table. I pretty much do all of my match betting from here because when I'm over in the Profit Squirrel office, I don't really get much time to do it, and it can be a bit of a distracting place because we're trying to run the business from there, so people are often coming over and asking me things, and there's other things to deal with. So I like to have this space here as my home office. It's a little bit quieter and I can just really focus on match betting and get the bets done in a good way and sort of an efficient way. So I have my iMac here, which is what I use. I actually have bought that with profits from match betting, so it's quite a good not a PC, it's a good computer. You don't need that though because I've also got a laptop, and any laptop will do really for match betting. I like to keep my desk pretty focused and clear. I do have my notepad here. I use a lot of the trackers that Profit Score have. I mostly use spreadsheets for my bets and things, but the notebook, I like to have that in case I want to make any quick notes or anything, or particularly with horse racing. I find when the odds are moving fast, I like to just note things down and write down horses that I'm watching, so that's all a little bit easier there as well. If you're wondering why I'm so high up, it's because I use a standing desk. I don't think that really helps with match betting necessarily. You can obviously sit down or be walking or do whatever you want to do it. I think that's it really. Let me get you back to the other side of the camera, and I just want to go through the tools that I use in order to set up my windows for match betting. So in terms of what I do on my actual screen, I also keep it pretty simple. So generally what I like to do is when I'm reading stuff or doing a bit of research, I have everything in one window here. And then when I want to start comparing two things or using the tools, I tend to put them into two separate windows. So one tool I really like, it's called the Better Snap tool. I'll put a link to it in the description below. If you're using Windows, I think this is a feature that is already built in, but on a Mac I'm pretty sure it's not a built-in feature, and what it allows you to do is basically snap your window to the left and it takes up exactly half the screen, and then I can take this other window, snap it to the right, and I've got two things side by side, so it sort of imitates having two monitors. And then what I can be doing is I can be using the odds matcher, the calculator, or whatever I want to be doing. Say I'm looking up an event here on Ladbrokes, and then I'll have the two side by side, being able to flick between one and the other. And then when the time comes to actually place my back and lay bet, what I'll often do is just have the bookmaker and the exchange in two separate tabs here, and I'll just flick between them very quickly. And the reason I do it like that is so that I can have the odds calculator up here and if I need to make any quick adjustments, if the odds have changed, I'm able to go ahead and do that there, and then very quickly copy and paste the lay stake here into Betfair or whichever other exchange I'm doing. So I found that this way gives me the most flexibility to actually do that. If I'm doing something with horse racing, when I'm trying to manually find a match between the bookmaker and the exchange, what I'll typically do is sort of reverse that order, and I'll have the bookmaker here on the left hand side and the exchange here, so I can be looking, I can be comparing odds, seeing sort of Indian vision here, this is one horse, Indian vision there, searching. They're often in different orders, but you can reorder them as well, and this way it's really easy just to flick between the two pages, find yourself a really good match manually. And that's basically it. I try and keep it really simple, everything really accessible. If it's on my laptop, I basically replicate the same thing. I have done match betting on my phone, but I find it's not really the best way to get things done and to do things quickly, mainly because the bookmaker sites, they don't work that well. Some of the features on Profit Squirrel don't work super well on mobile at the moment as well, and I think if you're going to make real profits from match betting, the best thing to do is to do it on a desktop or a laptop, but there's no reason you can't do it on a phone as well or a tablet. I just use the old double tap feature on iPhones to flick between the browser windows that I have open, and I'm sure there's a similar feature there for Android or any other feature phone that you might have. So as I said, bit of a different video today. I hope that's given you a bit of a cool insight into how I do things and maybe giving you a few ideas of your own. Let me know how you set yourself up. What do you do in order to match bet, and how do you structure your setup? Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you all really soon.